Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a Transformers television podcast where we're going through all of the Transformers history on TV, but not in chronological order. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm the other host, Nero. Everyone loves the new Autobot, Sideways. He's cool. He's a ninja. He turns into a motorcycle. Hold on, I'm receiving a note. We regret to inform you that Sideways is an agent of the devil.
I have more news. Everyone hates new Decepticon, Devastor. Wait, I'm also receiving a note. It turns out that Devastor has been an angel this entire time.
That's right. This week we watched Armada episodes, I forgot which ones, 15 and 16?
16 and 17.
16 and 17.
Which contain two of the quickest heel face and face heel turns in storytelling history.
They really waste no time here. Yeah, so Sideways joined up last week, and of course, oh wow, what a suspicious guy. His name is Sideways / Doubleface.
Yeah, Doubleface. A name you can trust. Yeah,
a name you can trust. And it took like less than a whole episode for him to betray the Autobots.
Yeah.
So, he's efficient. I'll give him that.
Yeah, we gotta get through this shit,
Yeah,
we have plot to get to apparently now. So
we do. The plot is getting started. We're finding more of these little yellow bastards in fucking cliffs and shit. Got to get that Skyboom shield.
The who?
So,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Scavenger knows about it, but he's not going to tell anybody. So we start off here, episode 16, which in the dub is Credulous.
Weird name. In the sub, it's Arrogant Pride.
Yeah, Credulous is like gullibility, right? Like
like, Credulous is like Naruto voice, believe it.
Yeah, taking everything at face value, which I guess sort of fits for Sideways' big trick. So, we start out...
You've been bamboozled! It's Sideways' trick!
Are you experiencing Botheration's hotshot?
You've been japed!
So we start out the episode in a familiar place in Media Res with the Decepticons getting the shit kicked out of them by Hotshot.
Yeah.
It keeps happening.
They are... Okay, so, yes, obviously Hot Rod is, very powerful because he has the Star Saber, but in general, throughout the scene, the Decepticons are sucking incredible shit.
They are just arguing all the time. They cannot get their shit together. So, even if they didn't have a super-powered, little guy with a giant sword bearing down on them, they wouldn't be doing very well.
Now, admittedly, some of this is because of Doubleface's trick.
Yes.
So, notably, Hot Rod is obviously kicking pretty serious ass. But as he does that, Doubleface is also, so first of all, Doubleface is, notably the smallest of the main cast.
He's very small. He's baby.
He's
not.
Baby boy baby, and also evil.
Yeah. Those are his two modes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you call the naked head mode, though. We see that very briefly. We see his, uncovered head for about 2 seconds.
His uncut head. Sorry.
You should be.
I changed my mind. I regret nothing. So Sideways, Doubleface, who is, notably the smallest of the non-Micron Transformers, by a fairly significant amount. The second smallest person is probably Ratchet.
I think Hotshot is smaller.
It's either Ratchet or Hot Rod, and like there are shots where Doubleface literally looks like a Micron against them. He's such a small guy, and he like transforms and starts chasing down all of the Decepticons, and they just like run away with it. Like, oh no, it's Doubleface.
Oh no, it's a fucking motorcycle. Yeah, so they get fucking boxed in by Sideways and Hotshot here.
Well, one of them doesn't. Because Starscream looks at all of this and goes, actually, fuck this. And transforms and just flies away. Fully flies away.
I can fly. Cyclonus, pointedly, not smart enough to do this.
Or not disloyal enough to do this.
Yeah. So Starscream flies away, leaving Cyclonus, Megatron, and Demolisher boxed in here. Scavenger also staying out of this nonsense. I don't know where he is. I think he's back on the base at this point.
Oh, he's on a cliff, like watching this. Yeah.
He likes to watch. Yeah,
okay. We both had our moments here already. We're 5 minutes into this episode? Yeah,
So, like, Hotshot tells Sideways to get the minicon while he bats around the Decepticons here for a little bit. We kind of see everyone watching back at base because
this is exciting. The kids are at home for once.
Yeah, they have officially. This is the point, I believe, where they officially just leave the kids back at base.
Thank God, honestly.
They watch the battles through Laserbeak, and Red Alert stays there to make sure nothing bad happens to them there. Sometimes. Other times, like, someone else stays behind, I think. Because, like, I believe the others, like, Optimus and Smokescreen are there, but they're kind of far away. Like, Hotshot and Sideways really, like, were hungry for battle, so they just tore right in there.
Yeah, so Optimus and Grap, Optimus literally looks at Doubleface just chasing the entire Decepticon army down and is like, yeah, that seems normal. Like, I trust that. They can handle it. Let's go get this fucking Micron.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you know, we cut back to the base, everyone's cheering Hotshot on, and Red Alert muses, you know, as long as he doesn't place overconfident in that sword, Hotshot should be just fine. Oh. I'm sure that won't come up again.
And hey, we get a new thing from Hot Rod.
Yeah, he can skate now. He has Heelys.
What? Why have you never used this before?
Yeah, so he, like, stances up, uses the saw blades on his feet to, like, shoot forward and, like, fight the Decepticons, because I believe Sideways is, entangled with Megatron, let's say. You know, there's a lot of shots of Megatron and Sideways in this episode that look sus as fuck.
Can you just put two trucks having sex in here again?
Yeah.
Can you just pop that right in here again?
I will indeed. The bit later on the moon where he is holding Sideways quote-unquote hostage.
Yeah, just like any time. Just like if we could just put a quick two trucks in there.
Yeah. But we have a little bit to get that right now. They're just sort of wrestling on the ground. Trying, like, they're just, I love it when the fight for the minicons just devolves into, like, rolling around in the dirt, like, trying to grab it from each other.
Yeah, so even though this is how stupid everyone is, so even though Optimus and Optimus and Grap went off to find the Micron, which was in, like, a totally different area, eventually Doubleface is like, I have the Micron, and Megatron, like, tackles him to the ground. He's like, no, I'm gonna have the Micron, and he, like,
mine
presses on, he does, like, the thing where he, like, presses on Doubleface's wrist until he, like, releases it, I guess. He just sort of, like, opens his hand and it drops into Megatron's hand. Totally not suspiciously, don't worry about it.
I should describe a little bit the fucking shot, because we've described that Sideways as very small. So the shot of Megatron on top of him looks really funny. You can just see sideways his feet barely poking out from underneath Megatron.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing that keeps coming up in this episode in particular, Cyclonus can shoot missiles now.
Again, why have you never done this before?
Like, usually those... The missiles that are actually on his arms just shoot lasers, but now one of them has like he has like holes in them that they can fire missiles out of now suddenly.
I guess. But yeah, so Megatron's like, all right, we have the Micron, time to retreat, and they start phasing away, and Doubleface is like, no, I won't let you, and like clings to Megatron's leg, and Hot Rod's like, no, my best friend, my best friend Doubleface, who I love like a brother, I won't let you go alone. He got
real close to Sideways in the span of like one episode. What the hell happened?
Yeah, and so Doubleface hangs on to Megatron, and Hot Rod hangs on to Doubleface, and they both warp out with Megatron. And there's a cut over to Devastator looking over this, and all I could think was, LOL, said the Scorpion. LMAO.
Yep. Yeah, he just says, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. We get a flashback. I don't know why we get a flashback of Sideways and Hotshot talking, which it is not a conversation we ever saw on screen. This is just, I guess they were just talking.
Yeah.
But Sideways is just like, hey, it'd be pretty sweet if we just, like, invaded the Decepticon moon base and killed the fuck out of all of them, right? And Hotshot's like, yeah, it does sound pretty sweet, damn.
Why didn't I think of that? That sounds rad as hell.
Yeah. And so yeah, they're on the moon, and Optimus and Smokescreen just arrive and go, oh shit, where'd they go? They got warped away.
To me, this is where, like, the episode gets really weird. And again, I know that this is all part of, as we get to Doubleface's trick, but, like, Megatron sees the two of them there, and they're like, let's destroy the base, right in front of Megatron! And Megatron's just, like, sort of frowning at them.
I mean, he's got the Starsaber. What are you gonna do? So yeah, they get to the base. They warp into the warp room. The rest of the Decepticons show up, and they're just like, "Oh fuck, why are there Autobots here? What the hell happened?"
First of all, like, Megatron is trying to awaken the Micron that he's just grabbed from Doubleface's limp wrist, and Hot Rod's like, "Oh no, he has the Micron," and Doubleface is like, oh, don't worry, he's about to experience botherations.
Yeah, it was a fake. It was the old fake Minicon trick. He just crushes it in his hand and is like, I am not pleased right now.
You've been duped. You've been japed.
So we cut back down to
just one other note real quick, actually, before we do that, which is, so, yeah, Megatron is like, frowning at the two of them, and as this, like, sort of Mexican standoff is going off, Sandstorm and Ironhide warp back into the base, and there's this great shot of, again, the world's smallest man, Doubleface, standing with his arms extended between the new Decepticons who've just come in, and Megatron, and Hot Rod in the middle, basically in doing the John Mulaney, okay, alright bit.
I'm just a little guy. You wouldn't hit a motorcycle on his birthday. I'm a little birthday boy. That is basically Sideways' entire MO, kind of.
I'm a little Unicron birthday boy!
So, we cut back down to Auto Base, and they're like, okay, we should probably figure out where the Decepticon base is, because we should rescue Hotshot. And then, but the kids are like, no, it's, like, he's got the Starsaber. He's probably, like, halfway through their ranks by now. He's chopping them all up. And then we immediately cut back to the moon base, where Sideways and Hotshot are pinned down in a corridor.
Yeah, again, once again, questioning why people aren't using their abilities beforehand, because they are pinned down in a corridor, and every time they poke their head around, Sandstorm just, like, Ironhide just barrages the corridor with heavy artillery.
Yeah, and then, So we get introduced to the scene by Scavenger warping back into base and going, it's the fucking Community gif of Donald Glover coming into the room with all the fucking...
Except with a lot less horror and a lot more humor.
Yeah, just sort of a wry smile as he says, oh, they've been having a party in here, I see. Which is when we cut to Sideways and Hotshot pinned down there. Yeah, so every time they, like, poke their heads out, Demolisher floods the corridor with lasers. I think it's all of them, but most of them are coming from Demolisher.
It's like, if you had artillery that was this powerful that it could pin down the guy with the Starsaber, like, why have you not been using this shit?
I mean, to be fair, they have not been fighting in areas with, like, long, narrow corridors of late. They've mostly been fighting in huge open fields where it's probably really hard. Because we also saw, back in the desert episode, Demolisher, like, dug in and was a mobile artillery platform, which worked pretty well. But, like, he hasn't really been able to do that shit lately because of the types of areas they've been in. Like, how is he supposed to do anything in the ocean?
Yeah, so despite having clear upper hand here, the Decepticons retreat onto the moon. And Hot Rod and Doubleface pursue after them. There's a great moment where immediately after exiting the base, they're like, holy shit, it's the moon. And then Hot Rod's like, okay, we don't have time to think about all that. We gotta follow them. And there's a track of all their footprints, and they're just the funniest footprints I've ever seen.
Just like a bunch of weird fucking shapes.
It's like Tetris blocks.
Yeah, like like imagine a fucking astronaut getting there and looking at these footprints and going, "What the hell is this?" Yeah, there's just like because like we got Demolisher's like tiny little fucking tread feet. We got like Megatron's weird block heels and whatnot. Like it's all just a bunch of weird
more
shit.
toes than I want to talk about.
So they are, I believe, right before they leave, also, Cyclone shoots another pair of missiles down the corridor to, like, give them time to run, right? And I believe he says, eat this virus breath.
Okay.
There's a lot of weird computer-based one-liners in this episode. Whenever Hotshot and Megatron fight, that seems to come up.
Yeah, well, they're robots, so, sure.
So we cut out to the moon, the Decepticons are hiding, they're regrouping here. And Megatron is just thinking, like, it'd be real nice if we could just, like, get that Starsaber, though.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, it'd be just real swell. And then Starscream appears and say, someone say Starsaber? I heard Starsaber. Did someone say, hey, Megatron, did you say Starsaber? I want the Starsaber.
Yeah, so, literally, like... Megatron's like, yeah, whoever gets the Starsaber gets the Starsaber, and Starscream's like,
Word?
Yeah, like, worm? Like, if I get the sword, I get to keep the sword, and Megatron, like, through grit cheetah, like, if you are able to get the sword, it proves that you are worthy to wield it. And Starscream's like, and you won't welch. And Megatron's like, and I won't welch.
Yeah.
And Starscream's like, fuck yes, I'm in it to win it now.
He just flies off.
Did we talk about the fact that they're in, like, a training simulation and seeing them all?
Yeah.
So
what happened, what they've done, what the Decepticons have done...
We've seen this before.
Yeah, this is we've seen them in their little training field. They've used the, like, hard light holograms that they've been using to, like, do training simulations to create an infinite army of, like, hollow matter Autobot doubles... to, like, keep Hotshot and Sideways distracted.
Yeah,
while they
there's actually a great line as, like, an army of Optimuses walks towards them and they dive into a trench where Doubleface looks up and goes, whoa, check that out! The commanders, like, it's a wave of commanders coming at us!
Yep. Yeah, and, like, even though they're all holograms, the lasers do hurt.
Yeah.
No, they're not lethal, but they're definitely not pleasant. So, yeah, this is what Hotshot and Sideways have been dealing with while the Decepticons figure out how to get the Starsaber.
Hot Rod realizes that is like, all right, these are hard like holograms. This is a training program. If we can shut down a training program, we shut down the holograms. So I will go act as bait, and you, Doubleface, like, take care of that. And they're like, okay, break. And they break. And there's this great shot of Megatron standing on top of a cliff, and sideways transforms into a motorcycle and starts powering up the cliff. And, like, Megatron just looks out at him with an expression that sort of says, what do you even think you're going to do? And it turns out what he does is ram right into him and send him flying backwards.
Yeah, but then, as the dust settles around them, Sideways transforms and swaps his head out for another one.
Well, no, there's several things that happen before his heel face turn.
Well, no, we see a glimpse of it first. We see, like, in the dust, we see him swap heads without explanation. And then we cut away from that, not knowing what happened between him and Megatron. So yeah, we cut down. Starscream and Hotshot are having yet another anime sword duel. One weird thing, I think the dubbers might have gotten the chronology confused, because Starscream keeps talking about having the Starsaber again. I don't think he ever had the Starsaber. The only one who wielded it before Hotshot, very briefly, was Megatron. He held it for about 3 seconds and then got it knocked out of his hand.
Right.
Yeah, but he keeps talking about, like, he wants it back, but it's like he never actually had it. He just always really wanted it. He has deluded himself into thinking he always had it. So, unfortunately, though, of course, Starscream gets his ass beat.
I mean, again, he gives, like, a pretty good effort against the strongest weapon in the known universe, so...
Yeah, he just has a normal-ass wing sword. He held his own, and then the Starsaber does some bullshit, and he loses.
Yeah, I mean, he does a pretty commendable job, all things considered, but he does lose. But Hot Rod doesn't really have the chance to revel in his victory, because his best friend, whom he loves like a brother, is being held hostage. Is being held hostage by Megatron. And he's small. He's so small in Megatron's big meaty claws.
Yeah, he's got his, like, hand over Sideways' chest.
He's holding him. He's holding him like I hold my cat.
Just holding it, just propping up, like, trying to get whatever he has in his mouth. Like, give me that. What do you have? Give me that. You're not supposed to have that.
The size difference is very eyes emoji, I will say, but, like...
Sideways, like, comes up to Megatron's, like, hip. It's insane. But I still think that's a bit big for a motorcycle and a tank. Like, the size difference should be even greater, to be perfectly honest.
They've mass displacement, it's fine.
That's true. Boy, we'll talk about some of that fucking mass displacement in the next episode. There's some shit there that made me real with regards to scale. But yeah, so Megatron basically says, all right, listen, you give me the Starsaber or I kill your beloved partner who you love like a brother. Your best friend in the whole world.
That's my best
Sideways.
friend, Colin Robinson.
And yeah, so Hotshot, you know, he's real conflicted about it. He plunges the sword into the ground and backs away.
I actually want to talk about this moment because, like, I thought the animation was, like, really interesting and, like, shockingly pretty as he puts the sword, as he, like, plunges the sword into the ground. It has, like, a lot of very early 90s anime influence in it. It's sort of, I think there was probably a different key animator for this part than we've seen before, but it was, like, stylistically different enough that I actually took note of it. It looks really good. Like, the moment of him doing this, there's a ton of emotion in his face. You really get, like, that early 90s, like, glossy-eyed emotion, this glossy-eyed sadness. From anime in this moment, and you get, like, the sort of, like, jerky moves of defeat, and, like, the defeat is, like, palpable in a way that feels like very early 90s to me. It feels like very Escaflowne.
I was also thinking about Escaflowne a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, there are bits of this show that it, like, do stand, like, cuts and scenes that definitely sort of stand out above the rest, which is just sort of, like, middling, messy, because, they were on a shoestring budget of both money and time.
Are you selling toys, son?
Yeah. So, yeah, he stabs the Starsaber into the ground, backs away, and Megatron returns sideways.
One note is that as he does this, Doubleface is like, no, don't do it. You'll regret it.
Yeah, like, you'll regret it, Hotshot. And then, yeah, he gets returned, and then he's like, why'd you do that? But it turns out why he did that is because he had a fucking plan. Because he commands the air defense team to split apart and return to him right as Megatron is about to grab it. Pretty good trick. Unfortunately, he's standing next to a turncoat.
Yeah, unfortunately, someone has a better trick.
This is where it's revealed.
It's Doubleface's trick.
He just fucking punches him. Knocks his sword out of his hand.
And as he does it, he looks at him and says, I told you'd regret it.
Yep.
And
this is where we get the reveal.
Yeah, Hot Rod's like, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
So he swaps. We finally see the head swap and the insignia change. His Decepticon head looks way cooler than his Autobot head, honestly. Like, he sort of almost has a cow skull look going on.
Yeah, bad boys are
with
cool.
His Decepticon head. Yeah. With his Autobot head, I couldn't help but think of those, like, ears as, like, pigtails almost. I kept getting distracted, like, what the hell is going on up there?
I will say, like, this is the fastest betrayal in fiction history. Top 10 anime deaths, for sure. Sideways
wasted no time. And this begins Hotshot's just horrible bad day. So Starscream, first of all, Starscream picks up the Starsaber and says, oh, it's mine now. I picked it up. I get to keep it.
Oh, well, yeah, he picks it up and Megatron's like, okay, give it to me. And Starscream's like, what? And Megatron's like, well, and before he can finish his sentence, Devastator, who's again been watching this from a cliff, is like, hey, what's going on in this neck of the woods, Megatron? And he has his finger, like, poised over the send button on an email to the New York Times that's going to expose Megatron for lying in front of all of his subordinates. And Megatron's like, I was just congratulating Starscream on having the Starsaber.
Also, there's a shot of Starscream, like, disengaging the sword part of the Starsaber and just sort of, I think he's trying to split the minicons apart. Oh. He's like pulling on Jetstar, like he's trying to get him to separate.
Is that how it was translated? It's the opposite.
No.
So it's the opposite in the original version. So what happens is Hot Rod, when Starscream gets it, Hot Rod tries to do the same trick again of getting the microns to break apart and return to him. And to stop this, Starscream squeezes them together.
Just squeezes them.
So he's not trying to take them apart. He's squeezing them together to prevent them from unlocking.
This whole segment of fighting over the Starsaber is kind of messily translated. There was a bunch of, like, unclear dialogue based on, like, you're not going to let him do that or whatever, and it was really unclear whether Scavenger was talking about Starscream or Hotshot or Sideways. Like, it was kind of a mess, but I was struck by the sight of Starscream just sort of grabbing a bunch of planes.
Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever. It makes a lot more sense in the sub, where, like, you see it, like, disengage, and he's like, nope, and, like, squeezes them together, like, you're not going anywhere.
Like, he didn't say it. I don't think he said, I don't think I can try to remember if it was even remarked upon. It might have been briefly remarked upon that they was trying to keep them from splitting, but there was a very, very chaotic moment here. Anyway,
yeah.
Hotshot starts getting curb stomped.
Yeah, we see what is pretty explicit torture in the sub, at least. Basically, Megatron's like, you can do what you want with our little mascot here, and it's like, hello.
Yeah, no, he's just like, hey, yeah, do whatever you want. And so Demolisher and Cyclone just start kicking the shit out of him. And Megatron, turns to Starscream's like, hey, man, if you want to keep that sword, why don't you go kill Hotshot for me? Then I'll let you keep it. Just go execute him real quick. And he goes to do it, and Scavenger says, hold up. Wait. I don't know if we should do that.
That seems bad.
That seems like a bad idea.
And everyone's like, why is that a bad idea? And he's like, don't worry about it, and sends Hot Rod back to Earth.
Yeah, but he is like beat the fuck up. He is just face down in the dirt, fucking not moving.
Yeah,
in his feelings.
He stumbles into the Autobot base, and it's like a really sobering moment for everyone there who's been trying to find him. Oh, and like the other thing was like they've been trying to find him this entire time, but you can't find the base because it's not on Earth. And they were only looking on Earth. So he stumbles into the Autobot base, and everyone is just like, the kids are like, oh. Yeah, it's just like, it's a really heavy moment.
Yeah, like he just stumbles in, falls over, and tells them all what happened about Sideways betraying them, shockingly and suddenly. I thought Double Face was perfectly trustworthy.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to trust?
My best friend, Double Face, who I've known my whole life.
Back on the moon base, speaking of Double Face, the episode ends with Megatron basically being like, whatever, Starscream has it for now, but the Star Saber will be in my hands once again. Like, this I promise to myself. And there's no one else in the throne room except for Double Face, who's in, like, not really the shadows, but, like, a little bit in the shadows. And his eyes just crinkle up into little evil cat eyes, and I love that for him.
Yeah. Yeah, Sideways, you know, I if you'd asked me when we started this, I would have said Starscream is probably my favorite Armada character, and he's still up there. But definitely Sideways is quickly becoming my favorite. He's just such a little shit.
He's a bastard man.
But yeah, and Starscream is just flying around the moon, you know, enjoying having the Star Saber and yelling about how fucking strong he is. Yeah. He's having a good time.
You know, you know what Double
Megatron? I should say Megatron just shoots the ceiling with Leader One.
So there's he has like video screens and cameras presumably set around the base, and like one of them is showing Starscream, and he just like shoots the screen in front of him. He's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
You know who Double Face looks like?
Who does he look like?
Knife Cat.
He does. That is him. That's just him.
He is Knife Cat. And that's our first episode, folks.
So, who wants to talk about some gaslighting? Episode 17 is called, in the dub, Conspiracy.
In the sub, it's close. It's Conspiracy Tactic.
Yeah. Once again, just chopping off extra words to keep their one-word pattern going here. Yeah, so we open up, you know, usually we've gotten used to opening up with the aftermath of a battle, and one side has gotten their shit kicked in by the other. Except this time it's the Autobots.
Yeah. So, the Decepticons have quickly amassed a pretty significant number of microns. And Sandstorm's like, damn, this shit easy now. I wonder what changed.
He's very stupid. So the Autobots are like, they're so beat up that Red Alert can't actually medic all of them. And so the Minicons are actually the ones fixing them up. Like, they've been getting their shit rocked. Not only like, they have the Star Saber, they are also extremely outnumbered. It's like 6-4 now. And you know, they're losing every time. And so we cut back to base. Starscream is feeling himself. You know, he's just Cyclonus asks, you know, wonder how it got so easy, and Starscream's like, yeah, I wonder why. I wonder what cool, handsome dude recently got the best sword in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone just rolls their eyes.
And Ironhide is like, are you saying that we couldn't win before because of some fault of Megatron's? And Starscream's like, literally no, I was just talking about how cool the Star Saber is. Like, this is just unfair. Like, this is just unfair. This is just unfair. It's nasty.
But now that you mention a Demolisher, you suck shit. I think you're the one who's been holding us back, actually.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I wasn't, but if you want to go, I'll go. And Ironhide, like, he's like, yeah, let's go. And because Starscream just, like, points the Star Saber, like, right under his chin, and he's like, actually, I changed my mind.
Yeah. So Scavenger sees this, go on. Megatron comes in to break it up. Also, I do like, because, alright, so what I really love about the group dynamics here is that obviously they've been picking on Starscream this entire time, right? They've been using him as the punching bag. He's got the Star Saber now, he can't do that. But Cyclonus is more than eager to just also dunk on Demolisher now, like he doesn't care.
I mean, he's been dunking on Ironhide as well this entire time. This is not new to Cyclonus.
What I love, though, is... So Megatron comes up, tells him to knock it off, and then he turns to Demolisher and says, "They are right, though. You do kind of suck.
Oh my god.
Your performance has been lacking recently."
So there are, like, slightly different reactions from everyone. So Starscream's like, anyway, meet me in the pit if you want to go, and, like, walks away first. And then Sandstorm's like, haha, loser, and also walks away. And Ironhide looks over... Ironhide looks over at Doubleface, who has the funniest line, in my opinion, here, where he just goes, "I'm neutral."
Yeah, he has the same thing here. Where he's left with Scavenger and Sideways here. He at first tries to go up to Scavenger to try to get some advice on how to beat Starscream, and Scavenger's like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not going to tell you. I got other things to do. And then he turns to Sideways. Yeah, he says, "Sorry, I don't pick sides."
I think,
Thanks.
I think the line, "I'm neutral," is funnier to me, because he's fucking Switzerland, and also, but, like, regardless of whatever version of it, it is also hilarious foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah. Also, Scavenger sees Starscream's behavior, and one, he calls him an arrogant cretin, which is an incredible just burn on him. But also he predicts that the Starscream will be the downfall of the Decepticons.
Well, it should happen in one continuity, shouldn't it?
Uh-huh. So we cut down to Autobase, and we see Hotshot. He's in his feelings. He's brooding out in the sunset. You know how it is. He's thinking about Sideways and the Star Saber and how much it sucks that he got his ass kicked.
And that his best friend, who he loved like a brother, betrayed him. Suddenly and inevitably.
Exactly. Luckily, the kids are here to cheer him up by making funny faces.
Yeah, so apparently Hot Rod has a several million-year-old sentient life form, has the same sense of humor as an infant.
That makes sense.
Because what they do here is literally what you do to, like, make a crying infant stop crying. They're like, they, like, make funny faces at him.
Hotshot is sort of a very violent baby when you think about it. Like
baby boy, baby, evil.
Yeah. Baby boy, baby, Sideways evil. So, like, yeah, he is immediately cheered up by this display somehow. So another minicon is here, though. It's time to go back into the field. This time, the battlefield is a huge fog-covered forest where they cannot see shit.
Welcome to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, they're in fucking Twin Peaks. So the Decepticons have also warped in, of course, and immediately Demolisher and Starscream start arguing, but Megatron tells them to knock it off.
Yeah, so Ironhide raises his stupid gun hands.
Yeah, he folds his arms over his shoulders to make the stupid gun platform.
So at Starscream, and Starscream just looks at him and goes, "What you doing with those guns, Ironhide? Gonna kill me? Better make it count. Better do it in one shot."
Oh, are you approaching me?
Yeah, he's like, "Go for it, dude," and activates the Star Saber.
And Megatron's like, "Fucking stop it. Go find the goddamn minicon." So everyone disperses, but then he looks down at the forest floor, and Leader 1 is hanging out down there, and he tells him, "All right, time to proceed with the plan."
This is so convoluted.
It's hilarious, though. It's perfectly Armada Megatron and how
Yeah.
fucking stupid and pointlessly cruel it is. So, yeah, they, Starscream is walking in the forest, taking a stroll with Starsaber, and he's talking to himself, and we're getting a little bit of the old Starscream here, because he's talking to himself and musing like, maybe it's time for a change in leadership. I bet things would be running even smoother if I was in charge and Megatron wasn't.
Megatron has fallen.
Yeah, he's starting to think about it. He's getting, his head's getting too big. Armada Megatron is actually smarter than G1 Megatron because he knows exactly what's going to happen with this fucking situation. So he immediately tries to solve that right away in a very stupid and convoluted way.
Yeah.
Which is we see the beginnings of now when Leader 1 fires at Starscream from the cover of the fog, causing him to panic, assume it's the Autobots attacking, and to just sort of fly blindly towards the general direction of the lasers, while screaming about an Autobot attack.
Meanwhile, Hot Rod, who is still in his feelings, Double Face just like comes right in front of him and he's like, "Hey lover, miss me?" And Hot Rod's like, "No!" And they start chasing, and verbatim a line that Hot Rod has here is, "I hate you, Double Face." Which is just like so funny. I hate you!
Damn you! So yeah, they chase each other around the forest for a bit, but Sideways is just too fast. And too agile. So then we kind of get back to, so everyone regroups. So Starscream's battle cry has alerted the Autobots that something is going on, but it also drew all of the Decepticons together, who are all just like, "The fuck are you doing, Starscream? There's no Autobots around here." And Megatron just very gently is like, "Starscream, where did you see the Autobots? Are you sure it was them? Are you feeling all right?"
Yeah.
It's insane. And also, it's insane that his plan works extremely well.
It really does. We cut back to Hot Rod, who is continuing to try to, confront Double Face, and instead he runs right into Devastator.
Literally, he runs right into his leg.
And
we should say that when Starscream was just sort of running wildly into the forest, screaming about an Autobot attack, he nearly slashes Scavenger. He was like, "Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, right, exactly. And he's like, "It's me!" And Starscream's like, "Sorry, my bad. It's the fog."
But spoiler alert, he was right, though. So, yeah, but the Decepticons are doing the split, the divide and conquer thing
so
again.
Hot Rod runs, like, right into Devastator. And he's like, all right, he transforms, and he's like, "Not the person I was looking for, but I'll engage with you anyway." And he just, like, shoots, and Devastator's, like, he's doing a shit job, because Devastator is just, like, kind of, like, leaning back and forth. He's not even
trying to fight him. Yeah, he's just chilling.
He's not even strafing. He's just, like, leaning his head to the side to avoid shots that are going, like, super wide. And, like, Hot Rod's like, "Why can't I beat you?" And Devastator has, like, a very, like, genuine answer. It's like, "You rely too much on your teammates. You've never learned how to fight for yourself on your own." And it's like, all right, ask a genuine question, get a genuine answer, I guess.
Like, you gotta know yourself to, like, win a fight. Like, you gotta trust yourself, you gotta know your capabilities. He's just, like, letting Hot Shot swing at him and shoot at him completely impotently, and then he just walks away. And Hot Shot's like, "What the fuck was that? What did that mean at all?" Meanwhile, Cyclonus has decided he's very confident today, because the target he picked to harass is Optimus Prime. Now, I appreciate having goals and ambition, Cyclonus. This was never going to work out well for you. Come on now.
1-800, come on now.
Meanwhile, Red Alert and Smokescreen put Starscream in rope bondage.
Yeah, Chibari, don't worry about it. Once again, I must mention a Shibari on my podcast.
They keep doing this. This becomes Red Alert and Smokescreen's like thing. They're the rope guys.
I'm 3 for 3 now.
It'll probably keep coming up if Smokescreen is around. It's his favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But shockingly, the one.
Hang on, I got one thing.
Yeah.
When Cyclonus disengages from Optimus, he tells him that he'll smash you later.
Great.
Thanks.
So, shockingly, the person who saved Starscream from his Shibari nightmare is actually Ironhide, who shoots through his bonds and releases him. And Starscream's like, Ironhide, why the fuck did you? And Ironhide's like, don't get me wrong, I still hate you, but I'm here to protect the Starsaber. And yeah.
Oh, we also see Scavenger watching from a cliffside, as he is wont to do.
Right.
And he is musing to himself, and he thinks to himself, maybe it's time to show my true allegiance. But before he can elaborate on that, he looks down at the forest floor and goes, what the fuck, is that Leader 1?
Yeah.
What's he doing out there?
He's like, is that Barrel operating on his own, separate from Megatron?
What's he doing down there?
He's like, can they do that?
And the answer is yes. So, all right. Yet again, so he pulls. So Megatron. So Leader 1 pulls the same trick again, where the fog. Everyone has kind of faded back into the fog. The battle is sort of on cooldown here. Leader 1 shoots at Starscream. He instinctively flings himself in the general direction of the fire, which just and at the first shape he sees, which just so happens to be Demolisher.
Which sort of resolves itself into being Ironhide just at the last moment, when it's too late for Starscream to pull back his attack this time.
Yeah, so he's about to swing, and then Megatron leaps in front of him.
This is so stupid.
And takes the blow for him.
I can't stand it. It's so fucking
This
stupid.
is amazing. So Megatron's putting on a show here because Starscream immediately goes, "Oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Oh shit."
Meanwhile,
and Megatron, no, I gotta talk about this because Demolisher helps him. He's like, "Oh, sir, are you okay?" And Megatron says, "Oh, Demolisher, as long as you are all right, I'm fine." Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is meanwhile, Ironhide and cue the BL roses and sparkles as Ironhide and Megatron look lovingly into each other's eyes.
They do.
As they clutch, interlace their fingers and look lovingly into each other's eyes, and Megatron says, "As long as you're okay, my cute subordinate, I would take any blow."
It's incredible. Yeah, so basically, this entire plan has been trying to gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss Starscream into looking like an unhinged, treacherous maniac. So basically, making Starscream look like most other Starscreams.
Yeah, basically, it's can you be trusted with the universe's most powerful weapon? And literally, Sandstorm's man, I don't trust you with that shit. You could come after me next. And Devastator is the only one being well, in the fog, it's pretty hard to tell who is who.
Yeah, it's the Scavenger's it's an honest mistake because he is extremely suspicious of Megatron.
And he's really I don't like Starscream, but I think I hate Megatron.
Yeah, he's listen, you don't have to hand it to Starscream under any circumstances, right. but this is fucked up.
Yeah, so Sandstorm's man, well, what if he honest mistaked me next time? And Ironhide, obviously, because he's a bootlicker, is the only one who can be trusted with his power is Lord Megatron, and Megatron is Starscream. This will just be temporary. But until you are in a place where you can handle the power of the Starsaber without putting your teammates in danger, I think it would be best. You've heard from the others on our team. I think it would be... Yeah, also, Double Face doesn't care either way. He's I'm still neutral.
He doesn't say shit.
Yeah.
He's just damn, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is very funny.
He's having a great time. But yeah, so Megatron's you've heard from the others. this would only be temporary, but until you are in a place where you can be trusted with this incredibly dangerous weapon, I think it would be best, as you've heard, if I held on to it for now. And Starscream, it's actually interesting here to see, like, this sort of political side of Starscream a little bit in Armada, because Starscream, like, looks through all his teammates and looks at Megatron, who's, like, gently opened his hand to him, and he's like, I understand. And he hands the Starsaber over.
Yeah, and also, Megatron putting on this affect of concerned leader.
Right.
Like, yeah, the plan is real stupid and convoluted, but also I love seeing Megatron do this shit. This is, like, the cool Armada Megatron stuff to me, of, like, yeah, he's not the, like, despot, the brutal despot of, like, Transformers Prime.
He's kind of a
little bit more yeah, he's kind of a weenie, but he's really, where he really shines is, like, pitting his own men against each other.
Yeah. But he does that because he's kind of a weenie.
Yeah, and with the Starsaber, he's no longer a weenie.
Yeah, he got anchor arms.
Just after that, Laserbeak locates the Minicon, and so does Blackout. So, yep. So they both have everyone has location on the Minicon now. So the battle is back on. Now, Optimus goes super mode for the first fucking time since, like, the second episode.
Can we talk about how much I hate his transformation sequence really quick? There's one part in his transformation sequence where his normal legs turn into his hands.
Yep.
For super mode, which I despise.
It's not good to look at.
It's bad to look at. It's bad to look at. It makes him look for, like, 2 seconds like a gibbon.
Ugh.
And I don't like it. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, he also, he can power links with fucking Sparkplug, so he can actually use his big fuck-off gun, which he did not have in Episode 3. So he's basically going to run interference for Red Alert, who is scaling the cliff to get the Minicon. Now, okay, Smokescreen's getting a real raw deal here, because basically his only thing is that he has a winch. And Red Alert is just here stealing his goddamn thunder, saying, no, I have a winch too. Get your own shit. Like, let Smokescreen have his one thing.
What's Ratchet gonna have? A fucking, like, siren?
He shoots pizzas out of his chest. We know this.
That's true. He does have ultimate frisbee.
He shoots pizzas out of his chest, and he's a fucking Hannibal Lecter ass motherfucker. We know this about him. He makes death traps. So, Red is scaling this cliff. Everyone else is fighting. We, once again, Hotshot and Sideways are chasing each other through the forest. And I wrote down this exchange of dialogue verbatim because it's fucking incredible. So, we see Hotshot and Sideways square off, and Hotshot's like, alright, I'm gonna fucking get you this time. Sideways responds, ready when you are, Turbo Nerd. And it continues from there. So they're chasing, they're running through the forest, and Sideways says, like I told you, you should quit while I'm ahead. And Hotshot responds, not a chance, two-wheeler. Interesting to deploy that like a slur. And then...
Yeah, this is like ground pounder.
And then Sideways responds with, go park yourself, Hotshot. Go park yourself.
Make like a tree and park yourself.
It's quite interesting. I just love Sideways saying Turbo Nerd made me pause the episode. It was because remember he's got the cool voice. He's got like the cool ninja voice. He's like, ready when you are, Turbo Nerd.
I'm kind of glad he doesn't have that in the sub.
I like it. I think it's funny.
He sounds like. I like that he sounds sort of like a normal guy, which makes his sudden but inevitable betrayal sort of more potent, I would say.
So Hotshot actually utilizes Scavenger's advice and kind of becomes more aware of his surroundings and less worrying about what Sideways is doing and more trying to predict, like, all right, gotta turn camera, what can I do to knock Sideways off the road? And he does. He he basically does like a pit maneuver on Sideways and knocks him off the road. as it were. They're in a forest. And I should say, the scale thing, so when they're in robot mode, everyone is towering above the tree line. When they're in car mode, they are normal-sized cars in a forest.
Yeah.
That doesn't make no sense.
Sure it is.
Like, we see Hotshot transforms from robot mode to car mode, and he shrinks like 5 times. It's wild.
They just hit the sleigh button when they transform.
Go ahead and hit the sleigh button, Turbonerd. So, meanwhile, Red Alert is just having the worst fucking time. Just terrible. He's getting fucking shelled by Cyclonus. Like, everyone's shooting at him, and they're shooting him so much that he actually drops the minicon, which is bad because it's one of the yellow panel minicons that we know goes to the shield. Scavenger picks it up and says, hey, I got the minicon, time to go. And so the Decepticons all warp away, which, chalk up another loss for the Autobots, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're back in the moon base, and of course the minicon that they already have starts reacting to the presence of the other one.
Yeah. And there's a great... and as this happens, Devastator looks at all of them and goes, my work here is done. And Megatron looks at him and goes, you didn't do anything. And Devastator's like, goodbye, and flings his cape around.
Actually, he has a really good parting line where he turns to Megatron and says, by the way, does your wound still pain you, Megatron? You made a remarkable recovery.
Okay, it's similar but slightly different. I actually think it's a little more ominous in the sub, where he's like, by the way, that looks like it still hurts. Good thing you at least have the Starsaber to defend yourself now, huh?
Uh-huh.
And you managed to get the Starsaber to defend yourself now, huh? As he leaves.
Yeah, either way, he's seeding distrust among his soldiers as he leaves. And where does he go? Well, he drives right to Autobase. And immediately everyone is like, oh, fuck, it's Scavenger, he's here for a fight, we better get ready. And then Optimus says, no, let him in.
Yeah, and they're like, that's fine. And they're like, can we trust him? And Optimus' great line here is like, if you're asking if he's a double agent spy, that's definitely not the case.
Don't worry, he's only a single double agent, not a double agent.
Yeah, we're not doing double Mobius reach-arounds here. I'm sorry for being a homestuck.
So he enters the base, and what I love though is Optimus says, "Red Alert, let him in," and Red Alert just goes, "Yes, sir," really uncertainly, like, "Okay, I'll let him in because I trust you, but this seems like a bad idea." But it's okay because Scavenger and Optimus just do the Predator handshake.
Yeah,
Scavenger, you son of a bitch.
And so now the two new guys who were introduced in the last set of episodes have switched sides. Everything is back in equilibrium. Yep. And that's where we end for this week.
Yep. The little blank spot on Scavenger's chest piece reveals he is an Autobot. He was an Autobot the whole time. He was working in deep cover for Optimus, gathering intelligence, which I gotta say, you could have at least tried to not hand them the second Skyboom Shield minicon, Scavenger.
Nah. His work here is done. You
could have tried a little bit harder to not give them that. You already gave them one.
His work here is done.
I guess it is. He was so helpful to the Autobots because he didn't even tell them where the base was. He could have told Optimus, "Hey, their base is on the moon, by the way."
LOL, said the Scorpion. LMAO.
Like, did they just not have any lines of communication? Like, what use is a double agent who can't talk to you? That's not how undercover work works. You gotta, like, have a dead drop somewhere. So yeah, that's the end here. Yeah, lots of just heel, face, heel, turning towards freedom.
Big wheel keep on turning.
Big wheel keep on turning, and that big wheel is Sideways' chest piece that can display either insignia. Let's see. We got questions. We sent it out a little late this time, so we're a little bit light on them here.
But we do have a few. Our first one is from Hornmy Starscream. There should be wizards in this. Are there any wizards in this?
Now,
well,
Now, I have a few answers to this. In Armada specifically, Sideways is basically a warlock.
Like a D&D warlock, yeah, you're right.
He will increasingly, like, display more and more fucked up abilities that he has. Like...
Because of his Eldritch Sugar Daddy.
Because he is a spawn of...
Man, we can't do that kind of spoilers right now.
He is a spawn of somebody.
Yeah, fine.
He is a
Just beep that out.
Yeah, he's just a weird ninja guy who says things like Turbonerd, and there's nothing else with him you need to worry about.
And he does have an Eldritch Sugar Daddy that we'll get to later.
Yeah, like he will get more and more strange and scary abilities as the show goes on. Continuity wide. I'm trying to think.
I also want to say, listen, if there's Atlantis, there can be wizards.
That's true. But
that's what I'm going to say for Armada.
The Transformers have fought wizards before.
That is true. That is right. Listen, my favorite G1 episode is always a Decepticon in King Arthur's court.
I wasn't even talking about that. I forgot about Decepticon. Yeah, Merlin is in that. There's obviously Merlin is also in The Last Night. But in the IDW...
The what? Sorry, I blacked out for a second. What was that?
Don't worry about it. That movie doesn't exist. It can't hurt you. Sexy quintessons aren't real. So, there is one more thing. In IDW...
Robot testicles aren't real. They cannot hurt you.
So, in IDW 1, during the phase where they're trying to basically make the Hasbro extended comic universe, there is a old Hasbro property called the Visionaries, which I guess were sort of their answer to He-Man, kind of, who are wizards, and it turned out that they had been living underneath Cybertron this entire time. Like there was a secret wizard city underneath Iacon or something, and they kill Cup with magic. So the Transformers have indeed fought wizards before.
What's really interesting about the comics, if anyone wants to get involved with that, is that because IDW has the rights to the comics for literally every Hasbro property, they get to do some pretty fun crossovers that create a universe that is not unsimilar to like the Marvel Comics universe. In terms of where, seriously though, in terms of where people are able to get their powers from, or like their superhuman abilities, you could kind of have like the full range of like technological based abilities, magic based abilities, alien based abilities, etc., because it is like a fully formed universe outside of just the Transformers in the IDW comics, which is like pretty interesting to me. And something that like really hadn't happened before IDW got like the rights to these properties.
Yeah.
I mean, the two most, so Transformers has frequent crossovers with two other very popular Hasbro properties. One is G.I. Joe, which was, airing at the same time and had crossover in a lot of different arenas, including not just storylines, but like voice actors and writers, etc. And that persists to today in the comics. And in fact, G.I. Joe and IDW 1 played a pretty significant role towards the end of it.
Skywarp joined G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Skywarp joined G.I. Joe, and like Thundercracker's stuff with Maria is also like tangentially related. Marissa is also tangentially
now that was
related.
interesting too, because Marissa Fairborn is actually a Transformers character who was tangentially related to a G.I. Joe character. Because Marissa Fairborn first appeared in season 3 of the G1 cartoon, where she mentioned that her dad was Flint from G.I. Joe and her mom was Scarlet. So like, even all the way back in the original cartoon, they were crossing over.
So there's this goes back a long time. But the other property that gets crossed over with Transformers constantly, in IDW at least, is My Little Pony. Yeah. Where magic is obviously explicitly a canon thing, and like you have Transformers reacting to talking horses with magic, and like as serious as you can like get that kind of crossover to be. So in any case, yeah, the IDW comics are pretty interesting because it is like a fully formed universe outside of just like a Transformers, like outside of the Transformers franchise, and there are definitely wizards within that universe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's like specifically any Transformers wizards. I guess the closest, I would say, the most classic flavor of wizard is probably Alpha Trion. He's not really magical most of the time, but he's like a weird old bearded hermit who lives in the center of the planet and is tied into Optimus's backstory. He's wizard coded.
Literally the only other thing I could think of, and this also goes more to like Warlock than Wizard if we're talking like traditional D&D classes, is Sunstorm.
Yeah, Sunstorm in
Sunstorm, who has the light of creation inside his body, and it gives off toxic radiation waves that kill everyone around him.
Just a short, because we have only a few questions, so I want to just talk about Sunstorm for a little bit, because for a very long time, Sunstorm was just like a hobby site recolor of Starscream based on like a brief cameo by an unnamed seeker in an early episode, and then Dreamwave in the early 2000s, who held the license at the time, decided, what if this guy had the light of creation and thought he was like the conduit of Primus, and just laid waste to like a bunch of people.
Well, even back in like original G1, the Stormbringers had some personality, and there are moments where Sunstorm is like, I love Primus so much that it radiates out of my body.
Sort of like a paladin. If a paladin just wanted to kill everything.
Yeah.
And I guess the original 13 primes are also a little bit, there's magic-esque things all over the damn place. Once you start getting, the closer you get to Primus and Unicron, the more magical things get, generally. Because, they're gods. There's also the cube from the movies.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, so... Alpha Trion's probably like the most... He like looks like a wizard.
Yeah, like I said, he's wizard coded.
But he's wizard coded, yeah. But I don't know. In terms of actual like outlier abilities and personality and general derangement, I feel like Sunstorm.
Yeah.
might fit the bill.
Sunstorm is like all those pictures of like the airbrushed wizards blasting like crazy lightning, and they're like huge and ripped and have orbs everywhere. That's Sunstorm. Except what if there was also a bunch of like really buff Jesuses around him? That's Sunstorm. That's what he is. Yeah. They should bring him back. Put him back in the 4 for something. I love
Sunstorm. I'm obsessed with all the Seekers. I think there's such like interesting lore with all of them, and I wish they got more screen time outside of the Elite Shrine.
Yeah.
From Cass Arachnia, who has sent us many questions. What if we shared a Russian taunt and we were both fembots? That's Arachnid RC.
Yes. That's also RC and Aileron from IDW1.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as hostile.
That's true. They are not as hostile.
They're not hostile towards each other. I feel like sharing a Russian taunt, you have to have some hostility. Yeah. So I think it's RC Arachnid from Prime.
Yep.
Wait, how do you accidentally invade? Well, you are the recipient of Double Face's trick, as we learn.
Yeah, you hug on the Megatron's leg while he's trying to warp away.
On a scale from Bumblebee to Hot Rod, how red is your favorite friend to the children Autobot?
Who is my favorite Kid Appeal Autobot?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking all of them.
I think I'm a Ratchet. So,
I don't think
blue.
Does he count though? I don't think he's ever like an appeal to the.
Yeah, he is. He's Alexa's.
But like, I think specifically what she's referring to here is like the Autobots who are most like positioned in the marketing as the kid appeal ones, like G1 Bumblebee.
Everyone gets one, and we know that like Ratchet is Alexa's.
That's true.
like, I'm going to stick with Ratchet, and I think I've provided enough reasoning for it.
Honestly, I think my favorite human Transformer partnership is either Miko and Bulkhead from Prime or Verity, Carlo, and Springer from IDW1.
Oh, wait. Oh, are we talking about any continuity?
I thought we could.
Okay, well, that changes things.
Because otherwise I don't really have an answer because I don't like any of the kids that much. Because they don't have really a bond with anybody. Like all of the boys have like a 6-way bond with Hotshot. You need to split that shit up.
So who did you say from IDW?
Verity and Springer.
Yeah, I was gonna also say Verity, but with Ratchet.
Oh man, yeah, she always ends up hanging out with fucked up old men.
Yeah,
Ratchet, Magnus,
Verity and Ratchet,
Springer.
or Astoria and Powerglide.
Oh my god, I can't wait to get to that episode when we ever get to G1 season 2.
God, Astoria and Powerglide, what icons they are! They fucked.
I'm gonna fuck this plane, and you can't stop me.
This rotary. Well, no, he's a plane.
He is a plane.
But he's like a cargo plane.
He's a very small cargo plane.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on before I talk about the story of Powerglide.
We gotta save that for the episode.
Yeah. What do you think is important when making a mascot character for your series, Transformers or otherwise? Okay, so I think there's like a very fine line to walk between like a visual appeal and like condescension.
Yes.
Because people know when you are like directly marketing to them. And if you do it too strongly, they are going to reject it wholeheartedly. They're going to be like, silence brand.
Yeah, what if we take one of the most prevalent examples as of late in the franchise? Let's just take Prime Bumblebee as our, because he is like the super mascot character of that show, clearly pulling from Bumblebee being the mascot character of the movies.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about Red Bumblebee. I don't care about that man. I don't know who that is. But all right. So Prime Bumblebee, he's got a cute design. He has a bond with a cool human kid. He speaks in bleeps and bloops, not in radio snippets like the movie Bumblebee, but he's an R2-D2 boy. Is that a point in favor or against his mascot ability? He doesn't talk.
I think it's fair. Like, for me at least, it's fairly neutral. Like, the rest of it is about his design and his actual like personality.
Yeah. Because I think contrasting him with, say, Hotshot here, who's definitely, he's your classic hothead baby boy who just wants to fight.
Yeah, and definitely pulls from Bumblebee's G1 design.
Yeah. Yes. And as well as animated Bumblebee, who was an even more brash version of that. Like, I think animated Bumblebee could be quite annoying at times. I think he was kind of supposed to be, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like you gotta find that good balance of not being just like an obvious, cynical like mascot character placement, like that fucking thing from the fifth movie, that awful little bastard that hung out with the little kid. What's his fucking name? Squeaks. I hate Squeaks.
I've watched all of these movies and immediately purged them from my memory.
Thank God.
So,
I've never even seen The Last Night. I just know I hate that little bastard, that little trash can piece of shit.
Folks, fund our Patreon, so we force us
Patreon.
Our non-existent Patreon to force us to watch the Bayverse movies.
Boy, howdy. It will happen eventually. I'm sure.
At some point, yeah.
A grim inevitability.
But yeah, no, I mean, people know if you're, like, directly marketing towards them. It's why so many brand Twitters fail so hard. The only successful brand Twitter I've ever seen is the actual Saw official Twitter, which is very funny because I like Saw so much.
Because they just hired like a pre-existing Twitter account who was actually funny. Like they just got Jigsaw quotes to do stuff for them.
I mean, there was that, but like they continue to be I don't know if you saw this, but there was like another tweet that was like, gay people will literally latch onto anything. Why is there a Saw 2004 fandom?
Yep.
And they retweeted it with a picture from a screenshot from the first movie of the two like main characters in the bathroom looking at each other very seriously, and it was just like gay people. Like it's a genuinely funny Twitter account, not just for obviously their collaboration before Spiral came out with actual Jigsaw quotes was enlightened, I would say.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, but like they are in general like the only successfully funny, like genuinely funny brand Twitter account. Everyone else fails at it because people know when they're being marketed to. Yeah,
exactly. Like the stink of market research can just come off of certain characters.
Okay, next from Cass is if the cast of Armada ended up in the world of Pokemon, which alt modes would they adopt? So are we assuming them that they're adopting Pokemon alt modes?
I mean, there aren't that many vehicles in Pokemon. Like, there's not cars, really, because it's a perfect utopia where healthcare is free, and the infrastructure of the world is not based on cars.
Officer Jenny has a police car, I think.
That's true. I guess I'm thinking of the games. I mean, let's see, because I'm trying. Sideways would just be a normal bike.
Starscream would be Ho-Oh.
Oh my god.
Starscream would be Ho-Oh. Megatron would be,
Megatron is Genesect. If we're talking Armada Megatron in particular, I think it's Genesect.
Oh, that's pretty good, yeah. I'll go for that.
It's like a heroic...
Optimus is Nidoking.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like a bright red Nidoking.
Yeah.
It's basically Beast Wars Pokemon, but with the Armada characters. I love that.
I mean, Bumblebee's Vespa Queen.
Oh my god. Hotshot...
Hot Rod's Vespa Queen.
I think he should be a fire type. He should be like a Rapidash. Or a Ponyta. He's not that old yet.
Or what about like an Electabuzz?
Yeah, something like that. What's like what's the fucking Electrike? That one?
Yeah. Ratchet is Chansey, yeah.
Round Ratchet. Computer generate me a round Ratchet. Cyclonus is Aerodactyl.
Okay, yeah. Or Skarmory.
Yeah, something like that. Ironhide / Demolisher. Obviously, he's got to be a rock type.
I was gonna say Blastoise.
Nah, he's not. He's not amphibious at all. I was thinking, what's the last?
Maybe
line?
Rhydon.
Yeah, something like Rhydon. Or what's the last line of the Aaron line called? Fucking Aggron.
Yeah. Okay.
Something that looks big and intimidating, but actually is very weak to certain things. That's Demolisher to me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What was...
Smokescreen is the only one left, I think.
Yeah, Grap. Okay. Grap is coughing. Wheezing.
Rude.
He's called Smokescreen. What do you want me to say?
I think we got everyone. I think, and I said,
except no, we did not get Devastator or Doubleface.
Our favorite boys. Scavenger is obviously a fighting type. I think he's a Throh, big burly motherfucker.
Okay, I'll give that to you. And then Doubleface, is like
Zoroark.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Or the other one I was thinking of, though he's not a flying type, is the Raven line.
Oh yeah, Murkrow.
Yeah, Murkrow.
Honchkrow. Oh, fucking excellent. Yeah, no. Sideways has got to be up to some shady shenanigans. Last one here from Cass is, which villainous org do the Decepticons align with, a la Cobra in G1?
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and you can decide whether or not this stays in or not.
Oh boy, I love it when you say this. All right, go ahead.
It's sticking with my previous theme a bit. Al Qaeda, the Decepticons at 9/11.
Megatron, it was an inside job.
Jet fuel can't melt. Starscream's jet fuel can't melt Steel beams.
I'm leaving that in. I'm not editing it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like a non-real villainous organization.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry that 9/11 jokes are so funny to me,
They're
everyone.
very funny is the thing. Fucking, like, it's hard to come up with alright, so it's 2002. What's like a hot show with a villainous organization in it currently? There's nothing going on in 2002. It was a fucking wasteland.
Yeah, well, let me see what... I'm literally Googling 2002 cartoons right now. So animated television says it.
Sideways would definitely join Spectre, though, from James Bond.
Oh, you know what? They would align themselves with the adults from Kids Next Door.
Yes, obviously. Oh, man, Kid Next Door. There's a show. Yeah, like, Cobra really is the most fitting one, because they're like the shared Hasbro universe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Also, let's see. Shigo, what was the guy's name in Kim Possible? Because that was in 2002.
Listen, no one cares about that guy. Everyone just cares about Shigo.
I know, but...
Shigo and some ugly-ass dude. What was his name, though? It was like...
Dr. Draken.
Draken, that's what it was.
Dr. Draken and Shigo. There you go.
Fucking Tekken character sounded ass. Dr. Draken.
I mean, did Mucha Lucha have, like, a defined
Don't
villain?
ask me about Mucha Lucha!
Because yeah?
I'm pretty sure it did not have an evil organization. Like, I think they were just heel wrestlers, but there wasn't, like, an evil organization.
Because we do know that they were, that they share voice actors.
Yep, that's true. I don't know. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I still say Sideways would join Spectre for a laugh, for a lark. Well, this has been Prime Cuts.
What a note for us all to go out on.
Sideways did 9/11. You're listening to Prime Cuts. Well, we're on Twitter.
I can't wait to see what the title for this episode is.
I have so many options. We're on Twitter at PrimeCutsPod, where you can find our our question posts. I will certainly be taking screen grabs of all of the compromising positions Sideways and Megatron are in this episode, posting them there. You listen. None of you are listening. Believe me. Trust me when I say it's wild.
2 trucks having sex. 2 trucks having sex.
So speaking of which, join our Discord. Fill it up. We always got room for more. We're on the Noise Space Network .xyz because of the Canadian overlords who run it. Great shows on there. We got 0 to 0, currently all about the DCEU. They're watching Aquaman right now. I'm learning.
They're so brave and so fucking orange.
So fucking orange. Kyle XY. Great show as well. Just finished the proper show of it. Now they're doing fan fiction, which is already a hoot. Already getting wet and wild up in there. What else we got there? You got Elementary.
Nuna Roy's Nightmare and Arrow. We got Slappers Only, which is about video game music. Nightmare and Arrow is about creepypasta. We got Kamurocho Radio, which is about Yakuza. All sorts of shit.
All sorts of shit. There's a podcast for everybody out there. Wow, Cool Robot. That's about Gundam. Different robots.
You might be interested in that.
Not all of them transform, though. I think a bunch of them transform in Wing, though, right? So, hey, they're talking about Wing. Some of them transform, I bet. It's called Gundam Wing. They got to turn into planes, right? That's how it works.
Yeah. That's exactly how it works.
I'm Nero. You can find me on Twitter at DragonSmoocher, where I have fallen terribly behind on Rovember. Perhaps I will spend Thanksgiving furiously G-posing, trying to catch up. But you can also find other projects I'm doing. I'm on a podcast called Disney Minus, crawling our way through the blasted wasteland of the House of Mouse. Just recorded an episode on Oliver and Company. That's an alright an all right late 80s soundtrack with a movie around it. It's over at Disney Minus Pod. You can also find my upcoming project with my friend Jane at Heidelin Radio, a comprehensive companion podcast to Final Fantasy XIV Online. Free trial up to the critically acclaimed expansion Heavensward. And my past project with her is over at Podcast of Power, all about the Netflix She-Ra show. Good show. Everyone should watch it.
And I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum on Prime. And I also suggest that you listen to the other podcasts I do at Pot of Greed, which you can find at Pot of Greedcast on Twitter. You can also find it on the Noise Space Network. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. We've just started season 3 of GX, and I'm so excited to see where we go in this season. And continue our journey together as a family through this magical show. That's basically us. Again, just say another plug for joining our Discord. I know Nero already did it, but we really would love more people in our Discord, which again, you can find the link in the permanent link in the description of this episode or in the URL of our Twitter bio. And until next time, I guess I'm going to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, even though this will be coming out afterwards. Transform and roll out.
I shed a single tear at the sheer beauty of the forbidden love between a tank and a motorcycle, and I roll out into the sunset.
Until next time, folks. Peach.
Peach.